Hi there! A very warm welcome to iQuanta's YouTube channel dedicated to your success as a CAT aspirant. In case you are new to our channel, don't forget to press subscribe. And I am Vikrant, your personal coach for all things English and communication skills. I also so very often dabble into the mental aspect of things. And therefore, you can go ahead and talk about these areas, these issues with me as well. And today, you and I are meeting each other for talking about how we can crack CAT VARC with 4 months of preparation. Now see, at the end of the day, it is an aptitude test. So yes, I am assuming that you are probably carrying a certain amount of ability with you, and therefore even if you were to start from scratch, I feel reasonably confident about the fact that you can crack the exam. In case you are somebody who is exceptionally weak in VARC and you maybe you struggle to understand high frequency words, etc., also very high frequency words, and you've never been into reading, your accuracy in reading comprehension passages today is say hovering around 20-30%, you have never read any challenging text, it's only in those minimal outlier cases that you'd probably struggle. But otherwise, if you are somebody who has a reasonable head on your shoulders, then I am very confident that if you start today, you can go ahead and ace this particular exam. So let's go ahead and dive into a strategy, dive into a plan that can help you. And in case you need to know anything during the course of this session, you just need to drop a comment in the chat box and I will get back to you. So once again, those of you who are joining in just now, welcome. And let's go ahead and talk about a 4-month plan for CAT VARC preparation. Let's start. So first up, tell me, is this something that has stopped you from starting your preparation? क्या ये है वो कारण जिसकी वजह से आपने शुरुआत नहीं की? Is this about the time when you are feeling a little afraid, a little fearful? अब देखो, तुम्हारा तो पता नहीं, मगर इन दिनों जो मैसेज आ रहे हैं उसके हिसाब से तो भर भर के, मतलब थोड़ा सा फियर ऑफ फेलियर थोड़ी है, इतना तो भर भर के फियर ऑफ फेलियर है अपने पास आजकल. So a lot of people are afraid of the CAT and their performance in this exam. If you are one of those, if you have these moments of self-doubt and you worry, this is for you. How do we kick this fear away? Very simple. So here is this one tip from me. Now you may look at it and you'd say, यार come on, what are you talking about? यार ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है. भाई ऐसे ही होता है. सोच के देखो. Fear is non-existent. Just refuse to accept it and the fear goes away. See, this strategy will not work for anything else. Socho, if you are taller than I am and I refuse to acknowledge it, I'll only be fooling myself. If you are more intelligent than I am and I refuse to acknowledge it, I'll only be fooling myself. But if I'm afraid of you and I refuse to acknowledge it, what happens? The fear vanishes. Isn't it? है ना? हाँ, मतलब तुमने देखा है वो छोटे बच्चे अंधेरे से डरते हैं, बट अगर वो चले जाए उस अंधेरे में तो क्या होगा? कुछ होगा क्या? नहीं, क्योंकि फियर तो वाकई में कुछ होता ही नहीं है. It's just there in our mind. So it's the same thing. When you have that fear, it's just like venturing in the dark. And the moment you do venture in the dark, absolutely everything else will automatically fall in place. So don't you worry. You refuse to acknowledge that fear and you'd be able to get through. So with that, let's move on and talk about the plan. So our plan is very simple. You want to go through VARC, first step, let's figure out the syllabus. Second step, create a plan to finish that syllabus. And the third step is stand before the mirror. Whenever you get ready for anything important, you check yourself. So I will go ahead and talk about that mirror as we move forward. So Let's dive into each one of these three things one by one. But before that, what's a goal? What's a goal? We want that the day when the CAT result comes out, we hit the bullseye. Our goal is to score more than 99 percentile in the VARC section. Okay, so how many questions do you need to answer to get that 99 percentile plus? I'll keep it very practical, I'll keep it very down and on the low. How many marks do you need to get in order to get this 99 percentile in VARC? Any guesses? चलो चैट में नहीं आ रहा यार कोई, एक बार हेलो बोलना, चैट काम कर भी रही है. देर आर सो मेनी ऑफ यू वॉचिंग. हाँ, कुछ करके दिखाओ, मैं भी साथ साथ जरा देखूं यार यूट्यूब पे व्हाट हैपेंड. व्हाई एम आई नॉट एबल टू रीड योर कमेंट्स हियर. ओके, अरे तुम्हारे सारे मैसेज यहाँ आ रहे हैं और मुझे पता नहीं चल रहा है. लो वॉइस, लो वॉइस, लो वॉइस. लेट मी सी इफ आई कैन डू एनीथिंग अबाउट इट राइट नाउ. यार इधर से तो ठीक ही लग रहा है. I think as far as the settings go, everything is optimal. All I can do is I can keep the mic a little closer, and I am actually surprised why I am not able to read your messages on the screen that I have here. अच्छा, अब आए, कुछ settings enable करनी थी. 8 to 9, 27 marks, 45 marks, 28, 24, 9 to 10 questions. Absolutely, yes. Here is the equation. So, if you want to get 99 percentile, then in CAT 23, you needed to score 39 marks. In 22, it was 38.5, and in 21, it was 45. So, basically, we need to get 13 to 15 questions net correct. So that is the goal that you and I, both of us, are chasing today. ये goal है अपना. So let's begin with the first step then. How do we start getting this much? And then we'd move. Okay, so the syllabus first. Now, when I talk about English in B school exams, and normally when you work with me, I focus on the B school exams and not just CAT 23, not just the CAT, but considering that we have only 4 months, I'd focus a little on CAT. So basically, in the CAT, you get the VRC section where the time allotted is 40 minutes, you get 24 questions. Here was the breakup last year, and this is what you need to essentially focus on. Okay, so if you look at it and then think of the syllabus, situation becomes relatively easier. So overall English happens to have 5 different components. So we have something called verbal reasoning, which is the foundation of the course. Then you have vocab, you have grammar, you have reading comprehension, and you have verbal ability. So starting with the foundation, then vocab and grammar are 2 knowledge-based areas. RC is basically a skill, and then VA is more or less a technique-based or an application-based area. So you know what this pyramid tells you. It tells you that whatever is below is required by whatever is above. But I will keep it highly focused on the CAT exam. So when I talk about the CAT, in the last 3 years, we have basically had these 5 broad areas. So we've had reading comprehension, we've had para jumbles, paragraph odd one out, para summary, and a question type that the CAT introduced, or should I say conceptually reintroduced in CAT 22, and that was para completion. So you basically need to excel at these 5 things, beginning with reading comprehension. So normally, how do we go on to become great at RCs? Well, at the end of the day, you need to know the syllabus and then take care of that entire syllabus. And the problem is, a lot of people do not even know that syllabus. So for RCs, these are the things that you can work on. You can choose to increase your reading speed. you can enhance your level of comprehension, you can improve your retention. So these three things are basically the skills that are involved with reading comprehension, and depending upon how comfortable or uncomfortable you are, you may need to take some special measures. But beyond that, you need to understand all the different question types in RCC. At the end of the day, your job is to answer a question. If you fail to understand that question, how would you really deal with it? So in RC, we get 20 different question types. So make sure that you understand each one of those. You come up with a tactic to eliminate close answer choice. So whenever you're stuck between two options, what do you do so that you can go ahead and deal with it? You say, which IIM will be conducting the CAT exam this year? Can somebody tell him which IIM? Can somebody tell Ashish which IIM is going to conduct it? And then I'll circle back to it in a little while. So learn to eliminate close answer choices, then fine-tuning your approach towards RC passages. Passage first or questions first? And then there are 4 more ways in which you can theoretically approach passages. Every approach has its own advantage and disadvantage, so we can look at that. Then passage prioritization. In an exam, will you be able to go ahead and answer all the questions successfully? We don't know. So you would like to start with passages which are easy and move towards passages which are difficult. And then finally, critical reasoning. So critical reasoning is all about thinking. So let me circle back to the question that Ashish asked. Which IIM will conduct the exam this year? That will be IIM Calcutta. Now, how is this question relevant? Does it even matter? Does it even matter? Are 4 months enough to get 99 percentile? Hopefully yes, and please do not drop a year. Yeah, at least if you're eligible, give it a shot and then we'll see. But that said, IIM Calcutta is setting the paper. How is it relevant? Come to think of it here, IIM Calcutta, the last time around that they conducted the exam was in 2016. Before that, they conducted the exam in 2010. And right now, we are talking about 2024. So over the course of last 13 years, they have conducted the exam twice. Is that enough of a sample size? What do we extrapolate from just 2 data points? And on top of that, between these times, the exam has also changed significantly. The way CAT was in 2010 and the way it was in 2016, the CAT is not the same anymore anyway. So will that extrapolation be even useful? See, remember at the end of the day, when you sit down to write the exam, on your screen there is one question. You haven't met that question before, that question hasn't met you before. You just need to look at it and decide, answer it or leave it. That's it. Who designed it, who did not design it does not matter. You carry a certain abilities, a certain competency to that examination hall. No matter who designed it, if you have the ability to answer it, you will. If you don't have the ability to answer it, you'll not be able to. So don't worry about these additional things. So people will tell you a lot about, यार IIM Calcutta ये करता वो करता ऐसा पेपर वैसा पेपर. Come on यार, ये 2 डेटा पॉइंट्स के बेसिस पे यार वो YouTube के वीडियोस चलाने वाली कहानी है, वो क्लिक बेट है. सच बता रहा हूँ, कुछ नहीं है. कोई नोशन दिमाग में रख के नहीं ले जानी है उसके बेसिस पे. ओके, सो वो ज्ञान मैं भी बांट सकता हूँ यार ये 2 साल देख करके. बट सीरियसली, क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग, डिसीजन मेकिंग, थिंकिंग स्किल्स, is that relevant? Okay, so that is that. So these are the 8 things that you need to master. And how do we plan to go about it? Read more and read diverse. So make sure that you do extensive and eclectic reading. Now I know your question would be, okay, tell me what is it that I should read. So here is the plan. You can read a newspaper, especially the editorial. It is even more important for beginners. If you are not a beginner, you can choose to skip it for RC. You may continue to read it for some other purpose. But it is important for you to read long form articles and essays. Now the question will be, okay, from where should I read it? Well, read it from the places that the IM guys take their passages from. So here is an analysis of the different places that the IM guys have taken passages from. So you notice a fair bit of passages from New York Times, Yon Essays, The Guardian, Smithsonian, Time, Atlantic, Economist, Scientific American, okay, which is not here, excerpts from books. So these are the sources that you should go ahead and read as well. Most of these are websites, quite a few of these are free, some of these are paid where the articles are behind a paywall. But then, wherever, if there is a will, there is a way. Huh? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You know what I mean? You can read them. Okay? So, यहाँ से पढ़ो and then read books. And the target is pick up books from different areas. For example, Ashray said that he is facing difficulties with philosophy and politics. So what to do? So if you are like Ashray and your challenge is philosophy and politics, then both of these areas happen to have their own specialized vocabulary. Both of them can be challenging for a beginner. So why not pick up a beginner's book on philosophy, a beginner's book on politics and read it? For example, my recommendation here will be to go through Sophie's World by Jostian Gardner. That's for philosophy. For politics, pick up the 12th standard political theory textbook published by NCRT. You can download the PDF for free from their website legally. And off you go. So just start reading. Okay? So that's something that you can do. Then, sir, I am a beginner. Should I directly go for RC? Okay, every single time when you solve a passage, you are writing a test. Now, let me flip the script a little bit. Let me ask you, I am a newbie in math. I don't know mathematics. I don't know quant. So, should I start solving questions? Or should I go and study the concepts first? What's your take? जाऊँ जाके रोज सवाल करना शुरू कर दूँ और फिर पकड़ के बैठ जाऊँ माथा अपना कि यार ये मैं सवाल तो कर रहा हूँ रोज आंसर तो आ नहीं रहे सही, क्यों हो रहा है ऐसा बताओ। तो तुम खुद सोच के देखो। टेस्टिंग ज़रूरी है, लेकिन टेस्टिंग से पहले यार चैप्टर, कॉन्सेप्ट, स्किल्स वो भी तो ज़रूरी हैं। हाँ, सोचो आज के तारीख में मुझे ना टेनिस खेलना शुरू करना है, आई एम अ बिगिनर, तो मैं जाके टूर्नामेंट्स में पार्टिसिपेट करना शुरू कर दूँ, जाके मैच खेलूँ। हाँ, विंबलडन वालों को चिट्ठी लिखूं, मुझे ले लो। अरे सब कॉमन सेंस है यार, तुम्हें पता है, बस तुमको इतनी सी जरूरत है कि मैं तुम्हें याद कराऊं एंड यू आर लाइक, ओह हाँ बात तो ठीक बोल रहा है विक्रांत, यही करना चाहिए मुझे। सो रीड बुक्स फ्रॉम डिफरेंट एरियाज। सो हियर इज अ गोल। भाई कौन से एरियाज, द एरियाज फ्रॉम विच पैसेजेस गेट आस्क्ड इन द कैट। तो देखो कहाँ से आ रहे हैं पैसेजेस। ज़्यादा टाइम मत लगाओ, स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो, बाद में आराम से पढ़ लेना। हाँ, तो इन दिनों एंथ्रोपोलॉजी खूब आ रहा है, इन दिनों जूलॉजी खूब आ रहा है, पिछले कुछ सालों से देखूं तो। हाँ, फिलॉसफी साइकोलॉजी पहले ज़्यादा आता था, आजकल फिलॉसफी थोड़ा कम आ रहा है, लेकिन दिस हैपन्स टू बी वन ऑफ दोज एरियाज दैट ट्रबल्स द मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ पीपल। सो यू वुड लाइक टू go ahead and work on that. Prakar, sir, paper made by IIM Kolkata is easy or tough level? How does it matter? Plus, what is easy, what is tough? Isn't it subjective? भाई मेरे को एक सवाल आता है तो easy है, नहीं आता है तो मुश्किल है। अब मैं पेपर देने जाता हूँ, मुझे तो easy लग रहा था, कोई मर्जी बना ले, तुम अपना बताओ। ओके सर, ये सब चीज़ें। और कितनी देर के लिए पढ़ें यार? कम से कम 25 मिनट हर रोज अपने आप को किसी चैलेंजिंग टेक्स्ट के थ्रू बेहतर बनाओ। कोई ऐसी चीज जो थोड़ी डिफिकल्ट है तुम्हारे पढ़ने के लिए। हाँ, कोई ऐसा टेक्स्ट जो तुमको 70-80% ही समझ में आता हो, बाकी के लिए स्ट्रगल करनी पड़ती हो। सो दोज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स। ओके, TYBMS Rachit, okay, what all call be done if I score around 80-85 percentile? Can we still get a great package? नहीं यार देख, frankly 80-85 percentile पे बहुत अच्छा कॉलेज तो नहीं मिलने वाला है, थोड़ी परेशानियाँ होंगी उस केस में तो. So I'd actually suggest कि यार अभी 4 महीने पड़े, तैयारी करके उसको 97-99 percentile लेके जाओ ना. Okay, फिर इसके अलावा as of now I want you to start solving 10 passages every week. Gradually I will increase this number. Okay, eventually this number will be increased. So how are you supposed to solve these 10 passages? Assuming you are a beginner, you're starting today, for 6 days a week you will solve one RC passage every day. But there should be one day in the week, so all in all 7 days, right? For 6 days, one passage a day. But there should be one day when you sit down and solve 4 RC passages in a single seating. So it's not that you break it. It's not that 2 RC passage कर लिए, break ले लिया, फिर ब्रेक के बाद 2 पैसेज किए ना. ऐसा नहीं कि एक सुबह, एक दोपहर, एक शाम, एक रात ना. चारों पैसेजेस एक साथ इकट्ठे बैठ करके करने हैं. Zeel Nakum, college first year student, when should I join iQuanta class? See, you will be eligible for CAT 2025 and we will start the batch for 25 in another 2 weeks. So you can join us in a couple of weeks. Until then, आ जाओ, बात करो एक बार हमसे, and then we'll check. Okay. यार ये जो तुम में से कुछ लोग ना, you are sending me your profile and asking for percentile. We have a tool on our website. Go to iQuanta.in. Put percentile in the search bar. It will take you to the tool, and then you can use that for a much better prediction. Okay. Then so that's RC. Then what is the next thing? Verbal ability. So for verbal ability, the syllabus is pretty straightforward. These are the 4 question types that we need to master. Okay, that's basically it. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So my recommendation ironically is number 1. So okay, this is where all of these different questions are created from. So in most of the cases you will see a strong overlap with RC. So ऐसा लगेगा कि कुछ खास अलग करना नहीं है, but you notice this. So you may want to read up a little more on linguistics, and there is a reason behind it. Okay? Why are we being tested on so many of these paragraph-based questions? Absolutely yes, Ishan. Those of you still wonder यार कहाँ से क्या पढ़ूँ? तो iQuanta के वेबसाइट पे हमने 250 curated articles डाले हुए हैं which are divided across genres. So you can very easily start from there. Okay? So that works. So the strategy is start writing. All of these paragraph-based questions are, especially parajumbles, paragraph odd one out, and para completion. These 3 are indirect ways to test your ability to write. Remember in school, our grammar book was not called grammar book, it was called grammar and composition. So they are basically testing that composition part. So a real long-term strategy that will make the professors really happy is to develop that composition skill. So start writing, even if you give it 5 minutes a day. Even if you devote just this much, I think we should be fine with it. So that's the bare minimum that you need to go after. So start writing. After that, treat each one of these 4 topics as a chapter, and I want you to start with para summary. Give it some time, maybe a week, 2 weeks, until you reach that 70% accuracy. Move over to para jumbles, then to paragraph odd one out, and then to finally para completion. So that's for VA. But then a lot of people follow this plan, they do not really get great results, and then they get back to me and say, यार विक्रांत तुम तो बोल रहे थे यार हो जाएगा, ये क्या हो रहा है? Why am I not able to get it? So the problem is, remember when I showed you that pyramid had a foundation, the foundation of verbal reasoning. Now, when I talk about verbal reasoning, there are a lot of different things that we go through when we prepare holistically. So, things like this, and this. So, deductive and inductive arguments, they are somewhat needed for inference-based questions, but they help us a lot when it comes to the decision making section of that. Then when I talk about syllogisms, logical connectives, Fij, all of these get asked directly in these other exams like NMAT, exams like SNAP, exams like that. But in the CAT, out of all these 5 things, there is this one area which is non-negotiable, and that area is you need to become excellent at critical reasoning. So if you have not mastered critical reasoning, it will keep pulling your scores back. It will keep adding to your mistakes. So please do not ignore critical reasoning. So within critical reasoning, there are 5 question types that I want you to master. So the question types are: identify the assumption. So this is in a way a prerequisite for the rest of the question types that you recognize. So how often do you see this question in reading comprehension? If you're making a mistake here, it is part of the reason will be that you haven't mastered assumptions. Then learn to strengthen an argument and weaken the argument, and finally go ahead and solve similar structure or analogous argument questions. These 5 for the CAT, go through them in the order that I have listed these here. Now your question could be, yaar, kaise kare? Where do I do it from? The easiest answer is, yaar, follow my sessions. Join me. We are starting the last batch at iQuanta. Tomorrow is the first live class for the batch. They've already been given a lot of recorded stuff. So just follow the session. See, the thing is, reasoning, we've never studied it formally, so it becomes very difficult to give something very cursory. But still, just in case you are not very amenable to it, you are for some reason not able to join me in my classes, just look around on YouTube or elsewhere, where I want you to focus on people who have taken critical reasoning sessions for one of these 2 exams. So go through those sessions and questions of GMAT and LSAT wherever you find them online. They will at least prepare you well for verbal reasoning. तो ये आपका CR का प्लान, इसे करना मत भूलिएगा. इसे अगर भूलेंगे तो फिर थोड़ी सी दिक्कत हो सकती है. So fair enough? So इस पे थोड़ा सा ध्यान साथ साथ देना है. But beyond that, let me now give you a more concrete plan move for our preparation forward. So देखो, we have 4 months. So week 1 to 4, what should we do? So the first thing that I want you to do is take a diagnostic test. Okay, write any mock that you can, or we had this iCat 1 which was open to all. I'm not very sure, the window is over, so I'm not very sure whether you'd be able to write it now or not, but you can go ahead and write it. So once you go through it, analyze and see which areas were comfortable for you and which areas were uncomfortable. If you don't have access to these, you can always go ahead and solve any previous year of CAT paper. But when I say any previous year, just restrict yourself to only the last 3 years, okay? CAT 21 to 23. These are going to be the most relevant ones for you. So pick up any one of these papers, go through the VARC section, and then we'd see. Okay, so now that you know your strengths and weaknesses, the other thing that I want you to start doing is vocabulary building. So take 15 minutes out of your schedule every day. In these 15 minutes, your goal is to go out and learn new words. Where can we solve RC passages? Shruti, बहुत सारा यार, हमारे ग्रुप में ही हम पैसेज बहुत डालते रहते हैं. We have this group called CAT Preparation iQuanta. Join us on Facebook in case you haven't. So we keep on sharing a lot of stuff there. So you can probably do that. I have a plan to help you practice passages with me on this YouTube channel. एक सीरीज शुरू करने वाला हूँ मैं, जिसमें आप मेरे साथ passages practice kar payenge, you can tune in for that. Okay, so absolutely yes, Shefali, the answer is yes. How many theta questions come? Yeah, the number varies, but they are going to be, so you can expect anywhere between 2 to 5 theta questions in the VARC section. Vaishnavi, please reach out to me through our group once the class is over. I need to ask a couple of questions more and then I can give you a more concrete answer. Om, it is entirely up to you. Yeah, I'd actually recorded a video, mock VARCs, a strategy to attempt VARC in the mocks. I think I uploaded it a couple of weeks ago. So it is there on this very channel. If you go through that video, it's a short video. I think that will give you a rather comprehensive answer. Okay. So, and then the third thing is begin reading articles, newspapers, magazines, etc. Right? For that 25 minutes every day. And the key focus in week 1 to 4 is, apart from these 10 passages a week, critical reasoning. So you have these 4 weeks. In these 4 weeks, you want to be absolutely rock solid at those 5 different question types. So that is the first month. Okay. Then if I talk about week 5 to 8, continue with vocabulary building. Instead of 10 passages a week, now increase the number to 15 passages a week. In fact, even during week 1 to week 4, if your accuracy rate is above 70%, you realize at the end of second week your accuracy rate is in RC is now above 70%, increase the number then and there. Otherwise, from second month onwards, you definitely want to go through 15 passages a week. Apart from that, pick up at least 2 genres that trouble you the most when you attempt RCs. Okay? And then make sure that you start reading more of those genres from either those websites that we talked about, or the articles, the 250 articles that we've shared with you, or the books of those areas. So make sure that at least those 2 genres are focused on. What is theta question? Mohit, CAT has MCQs and non-MCQs. So the non-MCQs are called theta fondly. Okay, so these 2 genres, and then the key area of focus in these months is going to be best summary of the paragraph, question of verbal ability, along with the main idea questions in RC. So make sure, so you've already mastered CR in the last month. So which means that when you come here, at least one third of the reading comprehension questions are questions that you've already mastered. Now we want to add main idea question to the list. So the moment you do that, you'd realize that you'd roughly be able to answer 40 to 50% questions with very high confidence. And in the remaining 40 to 50% questions, your accuracy rate will go up. The time that you spend will be reduced, all because you focused on this particular question type. So by the end of week 8, you should be very thorough with these 2 questions. Okay. And then in the next 4 weeks, start diving deeper into different topics such as science, particularly zoology, philosophy, history, anthropology, ecology. Start bringing in that variety. Pay very conscious attention to the fact that your reading must have a lot of diversity. Okay? Then work on improving your ability to understand complex passages. So deliberately pick up passages which are considered difficult or more challenging. And then start writing section tests. So go through practice tests and section tests and learn from your mistakes. So see, at this juncture, I would not like to give you a very generic strategy. What I want you to do is make the preparation tailor-made by focusing on the kind of mistakes that you've been making. Every error gives you a feedback about your preparation level. So you would want to go ahead and work through that. And the key focus area in these 2 weeks, in these 4 weeks, is para jumbles and paragraph odd one out. saying 300 to 350 parajumbles MCQs are enough, says, okay, PW. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, tell me something. Imagine you went through 100 parajumbles. And after these 100 parajumbles, you realized that your accuracy rate is 70% plus and you are able to solve it in under 2 minutes. So you're done. Now you would meet these in the mock tests. There is no point in going ahead and solving another 200 to 250 questions. Doesn't make sense. You go beyond these only if required. And no, do not work with MCQs. You can work with maybe 40-50 MCQs to begin with, but thereafter start working with non-MCQs. Okay, so go through MCQs before SNAP, before NMAT, before ZAT, etc. But before CAT, just stick to non-MCQs because parajumbles for the last few years have always been non-MCQs. Right? So that's week 8 to 12, and finally week 12 to 16. Write section tests and mocks. Now this is what I mean by standing in front of a mirror. So these are the areas that will now tell us how well prepared we are and how much farther we need to go. So once you write section tests and mocks, look at your mistakes, try and identify a pattern. We know that this is a very time-consuming process. That is why at iQuanta, we have brought in AI-driven analytics. So something that used to take people a good 3-4 hours of analysis to churn, to figure out, you can actually do that in just an hour and a half, at times even in an hour. So that will help. Along with this, start thinking of time management and test taking strategy. Start experimenting. See what works for you in the exam and what does not. Does solving RC first help you more, or does solving VA first help you more? Or maybe is there some other in-between strategy like mine that I've shared in that video a couple of weeks ago? Does that work better for you? So the key focus area here will be writing the ICATs or mocks and analyzing to identify areas of improvement and then acting on those areas of improvement. And here are some general things that I want to share with you before I end the session. Consistency is going to be the most important thing for you at the moment. So please make sure that you show up to work every day, as many hours as you can devote. If you are somebody who is a working professional, all your spare time should now go towards this. If you are, same goes for college students. If you are preparing for the CAT full time, you have zero excuses. This is your job. Please make sure that you're giving it 8 hours every day. And then, just like working professionals, 8 hours of prep is your work. Come back home and then study a little more. So as much as you possibly can. Then analyze your mocks thoroughly and take advantage of the AI-driven processes that we have here in order to save some time. Then adaptive learning. Do not follow a generic plan at this juncture. So adjust your plan based on your performance. So there are things where you've already, or there are question types where you're already beyond 70-80% accuracy. Stop wasting time on those. But the question types that you still go wrong at, those are the areas where if you focus, you'll get richer reward. And finally, one last bit is time management. So please become aware of, so this is something that you wouldn't really like to do right now in the first month of your prep, but from the second month onwards, start becoming aware of how much time it takes you to solve a question comfortably. You can start shaving off some more time through practice there, but you should at any given point of time from the second month onwards be aware of how much it takes you to solve. And that is how you can actually start accommodating that is how you can actually focus on question selection. And things are not really big. Remember at the beginning I told you that 13 to 15 questions net correct is enough. So here is your target. In the 5th week of your prep, I want you to write your first mock, and in that first mock, you just need to answer 9 questions. So identify those 9 questions that you have great confidence in. Choose and attempt those. And thereafter, every week, write one more mock, and between 2 mocks, keep on adding one more question through your preparation to it. And if you do that, you'd reach 16, 17 questions easily. Right? And that's what the goal is. So if you keep on doing that consistently, I won't be surprised to see you performing really, really, really well. So merely attending this session and finding out a strategy is not going to be enough. You need to apply everything that we have talked about. Willing is not enough, we must do. So please go out and execute whatever we have talked about today. And it is that execution that will help us a lot. So Shefali, I think the answer to your question is yes. And guys, so that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed the session. So don't forget to like the video. And in case you are new to our channel, do subscribe and press the bell icon so that you start getting the notifications whenever we bring in a new session for you. Absolutely, Vidhi, accuracy over attempts at this moment. How many hours? Okay, you need at least 600 hours of preparation for the CAT. And then depending upon how comfortable or uncomfortable you are with the rest of the areas, maybe more. Ashutosh, just go through this session, and then I've taken some sessions which are specific to different areas. Maybe you can go ahead and start working on those. So I think that's where I'd stop. Do drop in your comments, and you can also leave those in our Facebook group where you would also be able to tag me. My name is Vikrant, and I'll hopefully see you there. So that's it for a beginner's strategy for VARC for the next 4 months. I am very confident that if you give your best, absolutely nobody can prevent you from achieving your true potential. Okay, so that's it from me today. I look forward to meeting you in the next one. And do consider working closely with me by joining our last batch, where I'd be taking my first live class tomorrow. Take care, have a great evening, and I'll see you.